So there are 3 ways in which we can enable events on Ark. I'm going to be showing each method separately, but just quickly want to let you know that there are timestamps in the description, so jump to the part that you need to go to, and with that being said, let's get into it. So you need to understand that back in February 2020, after Love Evolved event, Wildcard went ahead and disabled events on unofficial servers due to the fact that events were causing memory issues, so they had to get rid of the events to fix this. Now, since then, events have slowly been coming back to us where us unofficial people can then use the events again, even when they're over. However, due to the state of the game, it's kind of somewhat complicated. See, events right now are kind of split into 3 different categories. You have the fully functioning category where as soon as you enable that event, you'll be able to craft all the event items, you'll be able to, get the wild dino colors, you'll be able to fully experience the event. The second category is the semi-disabled events. Now, you'll be able to launch them up. So for example, Winter Wonderland, you can launch that one and you'll be able to craft its items and get the wild dino colors. However, gacha claws and raptor claws do not spawn. So in order to get the mistletoe and co, you'll need to put them in your supply drops for players to get, and then they can actually enjoy the rest of the event. And then the final one is the disabled events. Now these are the events that are basically full on cut to the end, there's nothing there. If you load them on your world, you will only have the wild dino colors, and that's it. You can't craft the event items, you can't do anything else with it. So going on with that as well is that if for whatever reason you have an event enabled on your server and the next day it stops working, that's simply because Wildcard has disabled that event, and we're going to have to wait for them to re-enable it before we can use it again. Now, to make your life easier, I'm going to have a list in the description that I'm going to constantly update. So when an event gets enabled or disabled, I'll be rotating that list around, so then that way you can go ahead and get the latest news on what event you'll be able to run. The first way to enable events is to simply come to your host/local, then go to the Advanced tab, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom where you'll see the Active Event parameter. Now this method that we'll be using will work for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation users, and it will affect your single player, host non-dedicated, and dedicated servers that you run off that device. Now, in order to enable event, it's actually quite easy. You simply need to come to the Active Event section here and just type in the event's name. So for this example, we're going to be using Winter Wonderland, which was the event that just came. So we'll go Winter Wonderland. Now the other ones are on the screen right now, so go ahead and get the ones that you need right now. Alright, so now once we've done that, simply choose any world. So I'm going to load up my island world, and I'm going to go play single player. Then, once that's done, as soon as we load into the world, go ahead and check the cooking pot, and all the event items will be there. Alright, so here we are, we're in the world right now. Open up the cooking pot. And there you go. There is all the Winter Wonderland content ready for us to go ahead and get. Now, if you want to disable the event, it's a bit of a process, but what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the main menu, right? And when you're here, simply go back to the event parameter we had. You need to delete the event name. Then you'll need to load up your single player world. So I'll go through the steps now. Load up your single player world, and then you'll need to quit back to the main menu, close Ark, and then relaunch Ark, and then once you've done that, there will be no event currently active on your Ark. So then you can go ahead and put in another one, it's like Summer Bash or Birthday, and then you'll be good to go. So I'll load up the Ark again. So yeah, it's a bit of an annoying process, but that's what you got to do. And as you'll see, now there is no event enabled on my server, and now all we need to do is head back to the main menu and go ahead and enable a new event. To do that, just simply follow the process that I showed earlier on. Alright, so the second method we'll be utilizing, which will only affect Steam and Epic Games players, as they will only have access to this feature. Now what we're going to be accessing is the launch parameters, and we're going to be actually putting in the event parameter within that, so that way when our server loads up, it will have the event ready and good to go. And this will affect your single player as well as your host non-dedicated servers. Now with that being said, what you want to do for Steam is you want to find Ark Survival Evolved, and then from this point, you want to go right click Ark, you want to go Properties, and then you'll see here under the General section, Launch Options. Now as you can see, I've already got a couple things here. I've got Prevent Hibernation, which is another launch parameter, and I've already got Ark Winter Wonderland. Now, if you want to have 2 launch parameters like I have, you simply need to have the first one, then go comma, space, and then the next event, which we're going to be running summer. And then once that's done, you just need to go ahead and play like you normally would, and then the server will be waiting for you when you get into your single player world. If you're on Epic Games, a little bit different. So here we are, we've got Epic in the library. You simply want to go to settings, and then you want to scroll down until you see Ark Survival Evolved. Click the additional command line, which will then pop out that line. Go ahead and put in the event, close that, head over there, and then go ahead and launch Ark. And do the same process that you would have done with Steam, launch it, go play in your single player world, and then the event will be running. So the advantage to this one is there's actually less steps to do than with method 1, because if you wanted to disable the event, all you simply need to do is then head back to the launch parameter area, delete the code, and then there are no events running on your server. So it's a lot easier than method 1. As well as with this approach, you can also get it to disable events. So for example, when Love Evolved happens in a couple of weeks, if you don't want that to run at all, you can put in the command line and it won't run at all. So yeah, just if you don't want to. And the last great thing about this is that if you want to run a disabled event like Easter, you can go ahead, put in the launch parameter, and you still won't be able to craft any of the event items, but you'll still be able to get all the wild dino colors that are present in that event. So it makes it a lot easier. Whereas in method 1, it's a lot harder to get the disabled events to work. And as you can see right now, we've loaded into the world, we've checked the cooking pot, and there are my event skins that now I can go ahead and craft and enjoy the event. The final way in which we can enable events is by using a paid server like Nitrado. Now this will work for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC Nitrado servers, and the approach is the exact same for all 3 platforms. I'm just simply using a Steam one right now. So the first thing you want to do is come to your general section of Nitrado, right? And then when you're here, you can either be in expert mode or non-expert mode, it doesn't matter. You want to go ahead and make sure your server is turned off. So mine's currently turned on, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it, and I'll see you in a second when it's turned off. Alright, so now that the server is turned off, we can go ahead and start making modifications, because if the server's turned on, we can't make modifications, it won't save. Anyway, now that we're still here in the general tab, scroll down just a little bit until you find current official event under the active event tab. Now, what you're going to do is go ahead and click that, and then it will give you a list of events that we can choose from. Now, as I've already discussed, there are 3 branches when it comes to events. There's the fully working ones, then there's the ones that are semi-disabled, and then there's the fully disabled ones. Now, when you're using a Nitrado server, you can activate all the events. However, it is best to stick to the one that actually works. If you're using the semi-disabled one, obviously it just needs a few additional configurations. And then the ones that are fully disabled, there's really no point unless you want the colors. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and choose the summer event because that's the working one. And then we'll go ahead and save the change. And then once that's done, it's going to, save the change in our server. And then when we restart our server, we will have the summer event activated on our server. With that being said, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. I hoped it helped you enable events on your single player and servers. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the description down below, and I will do my best to answer you. And like I said, I will keep that list updated, so when the events change and update and all that, you'll be the first to know, because it'll be right there. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.